Hey guys, Rookie Lock here, back once again. I hope everyone's having a great day as always. Bit overdue for a video, but today I'm going to make my submission to WestCoastPick's Maker Challenge. And I'm going to make a pick handle. You guys all see me using these brass-handled insert type picks here. Today I'm going to make one, basically the same thing. It's actually a little bit bigger diameter, intended for a dimple insert. I ran out of brass, so this is what I have left. This is aluminum, obviously. Actually, when I bought this, I forget what diameter it said it was, but it said it was the same diameter as this brass, and as you can see, it's quite a bit bigger, which was kind of disappointed about, but it actually, I think it's better to have a little bit of bigger diameter material for dimple picks anyway. But again, I don't know too much about dimple picks. I have never picked a dimple lock, but I have one on the way from a buddy, Multi-Lock Junior, and I'm hoping to use this pick on it. But anyway, we're not talking about the pick today, we're just talking about the handle. WestCoastPick's, if I do end up winning, you can decide whether you want just a normal hook pick or if you want a flag like this. But yeah, to get started we'll need a few things. Obviously, need some aluminum. I'll try to put some measurements overlaid on the screen there for you guys, or either that or down in the description. I already have a piece cut here. I think it's about the right size. Yep. We're going to round off the end and flatten this end. We also need a tap. I like to use M4X0.7, and I like to drill a 1/8 inch hole. Some of you might think that's a little bit of a small hole for M4, but it actually works out well. It gets most of your it gets more of your thread exposed, and it makes a tighter fit for your M4X0.7 set screw. Besides that, we need a file, and I'm going to do this on my sorry for the shaking. I'm going to do this on my drill press. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it with a hand drill. Some of you might be able to, but I personally wouldn't be able to do it on with a regular hand drill. So that's about it. Not quite sure how this video is going to go. I've never made a video like this, so I hope you guys just bear with me for for this experience. Not sure how I'm going to do it. If I'm going to do it fast forward, if I'm going to record every part. We'll just have to see what happens. But first things first, we have our piece cut, and we're going to go over to the drill press and chuck it up and round out these edges. So I'll get set up and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we're at the drill press, and one thing I'm going to do is, so we don't mark up that soft aluminum, we're going to take a little piece of Shim Stock here, just really thin brass, and we're going to cut a piece like this. Sorry about the glare, guys, but just have a little piece cut like this, and I'm going to wrap it around my aluminum. Probably cut a little bit too much there, just cut the excess off, and we're going to stick that in the chuck like so. And yeah, this is just to not mark up our aluminum, because if we don't have it, it'll leave 3 ugly marks. It'll be a little tough to get in there. I think that might be good. your key. And we're going to start getting a rounded ball kind of end at the back of the pick there. There you can see my kitty cat exploring. Moved the little things around, and you know how cats are, they notice every little change. Where's my file? So I'm going to take my preferred file. Love this thing. Super Tanium. Really good file, made in USA. I think my dad got this as a sample when he used to manage our town's tree nursery here. But anyway, we're going to turn this on. It's on its lowest RPM, 730. And I think that's all we need. And like I said, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, guys, if I'm going to fast forward, or I might mute the sound of the drill if it's too loud, but basically we're just going to go on the end here and keep moving our file till we get a nice curved ball like this. So let's do that. And I gotta say, this isn't the best thing for files. It gums it up quite a bit, but yeah, it is what it is. I'll just clean it out with a file card after, and I don't think it really makes that much of a difference, but I'm gonna try the other side too to see if it works a bit better. And that's definitely good. Grab our chuck key. Sorry about the focus, guys. That's, like I said, this is the first time doing a video like this. I hope to do more like this though once I get the hang of filming things. So that's perfect. That's a nice, we cleaned everything up. There's no ragged edges like the socket end. And now we got to do the same on this side, but we're just flattening this side. So we'll chuck it up the other way around. And this should be pretty easy. A little bit of wobble in there, I didn't quite chuck it up straight. Now, the next part, we got to drill a hole in there, and we want it perfectly centered. I say this is probably the trickiest part. I'm going to take out the vise and do a bit of setting up, and I'll be right back for that. Stand by. Alright, so now we're all set up to drill our 1/8 inch hole down the shaft. And for those of you that have never seen this before, it probably looks pretty crazy, but there is a reason for it. And basically we're using our drill here as a makeshift lathe. And I'm sure most of you that have made lock pins before understand the concept that when our workpiece is spinning and we put a drill bit in it, it's going to want to self-center itself. Say we have a drill piece that's, or a workpiece that's spinning, and we try to drill off-center, that drill bit's going to basically wobble all over the place, and we know that we're not in the center. So that's why we have our workpiece in the drill and our drill in our vise. I think I'm pretty well set up to try to drill this, and if we're not center, we can I can show you how it'll wobble all over the place and give you a good indicator that you're not in the right spot. So let's just try this out. And for the first little bit, we won't drill far at all because we don't want to start an off-center hole and screw up our workpiece. So here we go. So you can see I think you can see that it's wobbling, and I'm going to turn this off and inspect how far off we are. Let's see if you guys can, probably won't be able to see that. But we're just going to make a slight adjustment and try again. So I can feel that I'm probably off in this direction here, so it looks pretty good. Let's try this again. And you can see we're still wobbling. Just got to find our spot where it stops wobbling and turn it off, and we're gonna see where we are. The only thing with this is you have to move your setup to get your workpiece out. And as you can see, we're pretty well dead center, and I'm really happy with that. Well, we can't see it because the camera sucks. Yeah, I'm pretty happy that that's as center as we're going to get with this setup here. And yeah, I'll set this back up and I'll be right back. Alright, so we're all set up and we should be good to drill a nice centered hole now, and I have my depth adjusted, so we're going to drill about to here, just enough to fit a nice tang in, or a nice tip in, and we'll go from there. Little wobble to start, but like I said, it self-centers itself pretty well. We're almost at our depth stop. Little wobble, but we can't expect too much from a setup like this. There we hit our depth stop, and we're done. And let's check out how we did. Hopefully it's still nice and centered, and we didn't screw up a piece. And looks pretty good to me. I actually kind of screwed up on the first one, so I have to recut a ball on the end of this, and then we'll come back and do some finishing on it. Alright, hang on guys. Alright guys, all we got to do now is just some sanding, and we have one more hole to do, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to start with some, what do you call this, emery cloth here, and then move to, I think it's like 1000 grit to get a nice kind of brush finish on here. So let's do that. Alright, it already looks better. We just have to flip it around to get this this spot that we couldn't reach. And we're almost done. And there you go, looks pretty good. Oops, sorry guys. So all we have to do is drill our hole for our set screw, and a little blemish there still. We just have to drill our hole for a set screw, and I'll show you guys how I do that. Stand by. Alright, now we're set up to do basically the last step on the drill press. Main thing here is I don't usually clamp it in the vise because I don't want to put any marks on my my aluminum, so I find it enough to just hold it like this. And yeah, aluminum's pretty soft and it's not that grabby, so I don't think we'll have any problems, but if we do, might make for an exciting video. So again, just eyed out everything, pretty well lined up everything where we want it. Can compare it to this one we already have made, and looks about good to me. So we're gonna try and put a hole in this. So there we go. Looks pretty centered to me. And now I'm gonna take out my tap and my set screw and finish this thing off. I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, so there we are, pretty much done. All finished up nice and smooth. Pretty uniform finish. Hole is nice and centered. All we have to do is tap this. I tap it for M4 by 0.7. Some of you might want to use a different size. I find this is a good size. And like I said, the 1/8 hole would normally be a bit small for this, but since it's aluminum, you have more of a thread exposure and makes for a nicer fit with the set screw. So sometimes I put some lube on this, some magic tap or some kind of oil, but I'll just do it dry this time. The only thing we want to do is make sure that it's nice and square in both directions. Sorry about the exposure, guys. Hang on a sec. Something like that. So yeah, we just want to make sure it's nice and square in those two directions. So it takes a little bit to get started because it's such a small hole. But I find it works all right. So we're fairly square in those directions. I like to check it every couple turns for the starting threads. And once we're happy and it's staying located, and we can just screw it in. Yeah, I really take my time for stuff like this because I want it to look like the person that made it took some care in doing so. And when you have a thread that's all cattywampus and finished, it's not uniform and raw edges, and yeah, doesn't look like a professional product. And for something that is this easy to make, I think you should, you know what I mean, make it right, as Mike Holmes would say. And pretty well screw this until it hits the bottom of the hole. I know this camera sucks, guys. I really gotta do something about that sometime when I can afford it. So it's bottomed out, and we'll just unscrew it and test our fit. Looks good to me. Let me grab an Allen key set. There's a trick. Okay. Now what size is that? Trying to look through the camera. So next size down. That'll do. And this should go right in if we pick the right tap, and it should go in nice and square. And it's actually grabs quite a bit, which is a good thing for this purpose. And we'll try just putting this random pick in that's unfinished. This camera really doesn't want to play ball today. I'll have to keep it way down here. Now hopefully we did alright and we didn't cross thread or anything. It's going in really, really hard, but with that tap you don't get all your threads because it's such a small hole, so you're basically making some of the threads with the set screw. Not ideal, but it ends up making for a really tight thread. And there we are, bottomed out. This set screw is a little bit long, but that's what we have. And not too bad. This one turned out really nice. Started with a square shaft, but it's pretty well round now. That camera doesn't do it justice, of course. Seem to be having more of a hard time with it lately. Anyway, so that's going to be my submission to WestCoastPick's Maker Challenge. And like I said, Harley, if I do end up winning, you can choose what kind of insert you want in this. Yeah, it's up to you. Alright guys, that's it for today. Sorry about the long video. Like I said, I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with it. It might be a bit fast forward, a bit muted. I'm not sure. I never made a video like this, so I hope to figure out a format and do some more stuff like this in the future. Alright guys, appreciate you guys staying with me thus far if you did. And as always, don't give lock pickers a bad name. Never pick locks that you don't own or have permission to pick. Alright guys, see you on the next one. Take care.